Okay, so I spent the day journaling in the sunlight, which was nice. I say the day. I spent like probably a good 2 hours of it, just like leaning up against a tree, and it was very chill. Uh, I probably only spent like an hour journaling in the sunlight before getting the dogs involved, and that's like a whole other thing. So I went to sit and journal outside, used my skateboard as a table, had a drink out there. It just occurred to me all of a sudden that like, oh shit, I can go sit in the sunlight and do stuff. Like I don't have to just sit in the sunlight and try to calm my insecurities and my worries and my trauma responses down. I can do things like I could take art out there or I could take my journal out there. And I was like, okay, fuck, yes. Or I could take this book on healing trauma out there. But I thought, although I'm chill with having a mental breakdown outside these four walls, probably it's more convenient to have one within. So I thought trauma healing books, maybe leave them for inside. So I went out with the journal. We went out with the journal. Dee is close by and was close by, sort of sitting and chilling with me in the sunlight. Too exhausted to front. Valentine not far. So, like, although I was the only one in the front, I wasn't alone out there, and that was nice. I always feel a little bit cut off from other people when they don't front around me, but I understand everyone being exhausted, and that's totally fair. And I started with my usual. What I'm trying to do is like journal the opposite of insecurities I have, and I've been doing this for whenever I first mentioned them on a vlog, maybe a week ago, maybe two. I don't have a sense of time, I realize. I've been doing it for a while. So I have a lot of insecurities about probably be quicker to say what I wasn't insecure about actually. So let's just say I have a lot of insecurities covering a vast sort of array of topics. So I just go against them. It feels a bit false still. It feels a bit weird, especially when it's like I did my hair and makeup. Well, I didn't do anything to my hair, but like I made sure not to towel dry it viciously and to let it dry naturally so that it didn't just up. Um, I feel cute. And then somebody corrected me and I was like, okay, I am cute. See, I'm like cringing away from it as I say it. Like, oh, it's hard. It's hard to override insecurities on our physical appearance without feeling like I should not be doing that. Like, that's a vain, narcissistic, or uh, false, like, not believed sort of statements. I get a lot of those feelings, but I'm just going to keep saying it and keep doing it and keep writing it. And over time, hopefully, it'll go into some sort of belief structure and then it'll feel a little more genuine. And that's the theory. I'll let you know if that's the practice as well. And then and then yeah, I had to then reassure for those ones and say like it's self-confidence building. It hurts no one. I am allowed to say these things about myself. I'm allowed to try and believe them. Then trying to like recognize and bring myself into the moment by being like, what can I feel? The sunlight is hot. It makes me happy. And then sat there dissociating for a few minutes and then came back and like just was off on a tangent about like what it means to feel happy. Uh I believe what I'm saying holds relevance and value. I am allowed to take up space on my own goddamn channel. Damn, get a shout over my own insecurities. That just happens whenever I catch how long the camera's been running for. Don't mind me. Or mind me. You could do whatever you like, but I mean, I'm gonna be doing this. You need not be concerned, was the gist. Okay, so then, yeah, I went off on like this tangent about what happiness was. What does it feel like to experience? Do we feel it? Do we actually feel happy in any moment? And I was like, yes, and it's sporadic and fleeting. It feels unsafe to experience, so it's felt briefly, and then we get panic. Because we're afraid of how bad we'll feel when it's ripped away. Because we're afraid of someone taking it, of losing it, because it isn't permanent. And lots more thinking, and then I'm just going to straight read this because I can't really summarize what I said, because I kind of just got into the groove. So, permanence isn't the only goal. We don't permanently exist. We only really exist now, here, in this moment. In every present moment, we ride them like waves, surfing across whatever emotions and thoughts occur here and now, to stay in the here and now, anchored by the physical sensations in our bodies, while our minds catch the flow of the winds like a sail, and transport us to new locations on the horizon and/or distant shores. And I really felt like transported by writing this. I could feel like I was on a ship in the ocean, in the sunlight. It was just a very tranquil and freeing experience, just allowing myself to write whatever I thought without judgment. It was interesting to see what came out when I wasn't judging everything I wanted to say. We are fluid, not fixed. Why should permanence be the goal, when change is adventure, letting go is freedom, moving forward with the changing tides is growth? We exist, soaring and unchained, from this moment to the next. No matter who we are in each of them, we experience, we are. Being is not a fixed point, it's a journey. And then a few more moments, sort of grounding and existing, and then swiftly followed by, I experienced a few seconds of glorious happiness then. I felt laughter bubble up in my throat and get caught there, held inside by fear, like trying to catch sunlight in a jar and keep its immortality. I tried to let it go. I want my happiness to be free to visit me whenever it wants, like a bird or a butterfly, and free to stay as long as it wills. The same for all of my emotions. I want to experience and feel them to their fullest, as they're here, and gracefully let them go, as they flutter away. I'll see them again. I'll feel them again. They're not leaving forever. I want them to be free and fluid, like me, like us. This moment is beautiful. I feel happy. I feel grief. I feel free. I'm going to practice letting go over and over again, so my/our happiness is free to return over and over again. And I'll practice making space for it to stay as long as it wants, just like we do for grief and rage and all of our emotions. And then there's like I love yous getting thrown back and forth in here, and like some very wholesome praise vibes. Which there is some debate on whether or not word for word they should be shared, but not sharing them at all would indicate like some sort of disapproval or shame about them being written. So I'm sharing the fact that they are there. It was very wholesome, very pure. And then journaling about how the day was so far. Thinking about how parts of me could only remember like parts of the adults' behaviors around us. So it seemed like there are some parts of me that only saw good behaviors from the adults around us, and literally would switch with other parts of me when they did something like just fucking yell and scream at us and or anything like that. So there was this weird kind of melding of experiences and memories this morning where we were and I was seeing that it's the same person, that the same adults were responsible for both being fun and loving in whatever ways they were capable of showing it, and abuse and neglect and unfairness and things that made us afraid, and realizing that in those moments I had been afraid, and that's why I was quiet. But like in the moments themselves, I didn't realize that. It just felt kind of like I was sulking or like something wasn't fair. So that was like a fucking trip of a time. Oop. Oh dear God. And then we went inside for a short break, got a cup of coffee, and the dogs were being like, well, the dogs, no. Bramble was being like stressed because I was outside the house and I do not do enough work to compensate for any sort of separation anxiety that could exist. So this was being a little distracting, although Ryan was very patient, was like, you can leave them in here, like, it's just irritating, but it's fine. But I was like, no, I don't really want her to be distressed. I'd rather take responsibility because I am responsible for them, and I want to share these things with them, like these moments. So then I went back outside and thought, I've have that slightly vlogged, so I'll probably share that one at some point as well. But basically, it was just going, okay, I want to be able to be like responsibly vigilant of them and make sure they're safe, and not hyper vigilant so that I can't focus on what I'm doing and so that my like stress levels are rising, and I don't want to be overly controlling of them so that they have to lie still all the time, and I don't want to be neglectfully lax so that they're out of my view doing whatever. So I was like trying to find a balance between all these things, and like shaping and molding their behavior so that they were more heavily reinforced for lying down near me in the sunlight, than for sniffing and meandering and calling them back after they if they left a certain parameter of vision, and regulating my emotions as I did this, and making sure that none of this sent me through like various flashbacks to times where they've been injured or other dogs have been like, we've had a few like, uh, not all owners are responsible, and it's not fun, and definitely while on walks having to be responsible for other people's dog because they're not safe, and just like a lot of shit and things that have gone horribly. Just no. Lots of no. Lots of trauma. So, like, pulling myself out of those thoughts as I'm doing this and trying to, like, be proactive in how I engage without it crossing the line into controlling the environment because I'm feeling unsafe. So, trying to communicate that everything is fine and chill and relaxed while being proactive and watchful in everything I'm doing, um, and shaping and modifying their behavior so that I um, eventually teach them, or like make it more likely basically that they're going to lie down near me when I'm journaling and not paying full attention to them. So I was like sporadically journaling and then um watching them sort of constantly out of my peripheral vision while journaling, so that anytime they did something that I wanted to increase the likelihood of happening again, I could catch it and like use shaping to mark and reward, throw treats down. So I was basically doing like this dual behavior change process for my dog's physical behaviors and my internal behaviors and like thoughts and emotions, and like trying to keep everything in this chill balance. It was exhausting. I'm really glad I did it, and it was exhausting. One bit I wrote was re-bramble. Of course, I have a codependent dog. Jez is secure. I felt attacked by the idea of taking them outside with me, and as if like my newfound freedom and joy that I'd just experienced for a second was under threat, because I would then be responsible and it wouldn't be the same and I wouldn't be able to just relax. So I took a breath, realized that I wasn't on a timer. It wasn't the sunlight or the garden that I'd found joy from. I didn't need them and only them to find it again. It was what I'd learned and felt. It was becoming fluid, letting go and learning to move and let go and ride the current moment, so I'm always in it. In brackets, I've paused twice writing this to clean up after the dogs, and I feel more fulfilled, not less, for splitting my time between being responsible for them and focused on myself. So while inside, I felt like I had to protect and defend my newfound freedom. Like I had to clutch at it as if it was like, no, if I take them out with me, then I won't, it's like, it's different. I'll be responsible for them. I won't be able to like just be responsible for me. And I had to kind of catch that and think about it and like recognize really that joy can find me. I don't have to remain stagnant where I last saw it or go back to where we were together last. If I can't hide from rage, and grief can find me wherever I am, the same's got to be true for joy. So I reminded myself that I can follow the present moment fluidly and not refuse to let go of the moment just gone, and that I am responsible for these dogs and what that means to me, and that I want to be able to share the sunlight with them, and the relaxation and the joy. And it's not like I didn't have the freedom to also be like, nah, this is too much, I'm leaving them in the house. But preferably, I want us to all be out there together and having a relaxing time. So I took them out with me. I've paused about 7 or 8 times while writing this to encourage them to lie down with me and throw treats in front of them. So now we're all sat outside. I'm journaling, having decided I'd rather make it possible for us to share in this activity, and I'm pausing to scatter treats when they're nearby. Bramble made me hypervig out, and I put my hand in bird shit. Nice. Undeterred, I went inside, washed my hand, came right back out, and sat with them for longer. I can learn to be responsibly vigilant and relaxed and healthy simultaneously. I'm gonna vlog. And that went well as a practice exercise, but this is why I'm inside doing the actual fully focused on the vlog. I'm just thinking that like there's many different topics here. Ease of accessibility. It would have been useful to recognize and split them into different ones. But fuck it, because I'm here now, so I'm just going to finish up on what I journaled. And maybe at some point in the future, I'll split them into different topics. So the last thing was, I wrote this before the dogs came outside with me, while I was still thinking about the concept of like being in the present moment and what made me feel like clutching at joy, and how I viewed joy as no, I really think that this could be useful as a separate one, so I'm going to repeat myself, but hey, this is the update. This is the journaling I've done today. It was good. This is how I'm doing. I'm very fucking tired. There's a lot. It's difficult to condense. I'm not going to try. I hope you're all having a really good time. Or minimally shit. I'll take minimally shit, but I prefer good. Much love. And we'll see you in the next one.